All right, sorry for the delay. Obviously not the outcome that we wanted, and, we just talked as a team just about consistency of effort. I felt like, defensively, we just didn't have that tenacity today. I felt like there were opportunities. We wanted to limit their paint points, their second chance opportunities, and I just thought in a lot of moments we were just reactive defenders. Um, Now, at the end of the day, we tied it up, and it was kind of back and forth down the stretch. I felt like they hit some big shots, but, we had 8 free throw attempts. That's not us. We're a team that normally gets to the free throw line 20-plus times. So, contribute that a little bit to their pressure, but just us not being as aggressive as we had been. And so we will go back, we'll review this, and we have a week to get ready before we play the school down south.
So when you emphasize getting 1% better each game, which areas did the Sun Devils find success in, and which areas do they need to improve on?
Well, I thought, our guard play, Jaden, Trey, Ice, those are kind of the perimeter players, and they pretty much come consistently every game. But I just think collectively, we just didn't get enough paint touches. We didn't get enough shots and finish enough shots around the rim today. And then we live on the free throw line, right? We bank on second chance opportunities, free throw opportunities, and we didn't get those today. And so where I thought our guards were really good on the perimeter, I just felt like collectively we didn't play our brand today.
Coach, was there anything specific that they were doing that was stopping you guys from being able to get the ball into the post, and then even when you did get it down there to try to make something out of it?
No, and I'm sure I'll go back and maybe call me later. I can tell you more, but I just felt like, and we talked about it, and Trey will tell you, we said we can't go east and west, right? We got to go north and south, and no, I don't think really was really much that they did. They were super aggressive and put a lot of pressure. They denied some entry passes and reversals, but nothing the way that the whistle was going. I think if we were more aggressive downhill, I think we could have got to the free throw line more.
The third quarter, you're coming off a game, you played really strong third quarter against
Yes,
Pacific,
yeah,
and you couldn't
yeah.
back Italy, and that was kind of the quarter where they got you. What
Right.
was the energy coming out of the locker room? What were some of the things that you were trying to put in place that maybe just didn't happen?
Yeah, we talked about our third quarters, right? So we were like, hey, it's a tie ball game. This is right. This is what we do. And, I'll go back and I'll reevaluate what happened. But we knew that this was going to be a competitive game. And we talked about finishing on empty. And I just felt like we were just a step slow.
What's the status on Mo?
Right now, we're still, waiting to talk to the doctors and get a full evaluation. So once we get that, we will let you know.
There was a point in the game, I think in the second quarter, where Brown was getting to the basket.
Mhm.
I think maybe Jaden got to the basket or Trey got to the basket.
Right.
I can't quite remember, but then that kind of went away.
Mhm.
So, again, you just think it was maybe a lack of aggressiveness on your part? There wasn't really necessarily anything they did defensively different?
No, they didn't. We kind of opened up those sides for them to penetrate. They sagged off a little bit. Their post player didn't come up as much, so they kind of clogged that lane. And we knew if that was going to happen, then our big would slip, and then or we could look to hit that mid-range shot. But they really didn't. Didn't blitz. They didn't trap. They didn't do any of those things that could counter just them getting downhill. But we also saw opportunities when that ball went inside. They helped off strong side. So if they collapsed, right, in and out, in and opposite. But it was just, just executing and being ready. So no, I really don't think it was anything they took away. They sagged off just a little bit, but it didn't stop us from getting to the rim.
Trey, despite the loss, you had a really strong game on the ball, both offensively, kind of running the point, and then defensively, your on-ball defense looked really strong today. What has been some of the things that you've worked on in the off-season and throughout the course of this season and improving yourself on both ends of the floor?
I'm going to say for the defensive side, I've been working on being more lateral and being able to move and adjust quicker. And then on the offensive side, I've just been working, just trying to be more consistent things like that, jump shot wise and get down and penetrate.
How do you think Treasure would have helped you? I guess she was sick, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think she would have helped you today, either just another scoring threat or,
Right.
or, in whatever ways? And then, I don't think Maggie took any shots,
No, she
and I'm
didn't.
thinking you probably don't want a situation where she's not taking any shots at all. I mean, you want
Correct.
to take the right shots, but
Correct,
I
yeah.
think you want her shooting, right?
Absolutely, she's a shooter.
Yeah.
She's a matchup nightmare because she's a stretch four that can post and take advantage of mismatches and things of that nature. But Treasure, of course, not having another scorer on the floor, her presence, she's also a matchup nightmare because, again, she's a bigger guard. She can switch, she can put that foul pressure on. So I'm not having another scorer, dominant scorer, veteran scorer, and Maggie not scoring today and also not having Treasure, again, I'm sure that does hurt. But I thought we had an opportunity, regardless of her not being on the court today, that we could have taken advantage of.
And Maggie did struggle a lot in this game. Just she didn't shoot a lot, but she fouled out late in the game. There's a lot of fouls actually with Jalen and a few others as well.
Right.
The whistle was blowing, but it was just on the other side this
Correct.
time.
Correct.
After the first half, no whistles were really being blown. So what happened in the second half that you think contributed to all of these foul calls and Maggie getting out?
Well, again, I'm never gonna, question, what the referees do, but we work on just that lateral movement Trey's talking about, showing the refs your hands, beating them to the spot, moving on the flight of the ball, being just our rotations on how we did things. We're aggressive on the ball. You saw us trap. We wanted to make sure, and sometimes when you have that bigger player on that perimeter chasing those guards around, the bump might be called, the reach may be called, but it was just an off night for Maggie, so she'll bounce back.
Coach, I've talked to you before about that press that you guys play and how good it can be. You didn't use it for first 3 quarters today, and then you throw it on there in the fourth and immediately turn over and score. I guess where is the scout coming into the game that made you think, maybe this is not the game for that, and then what did you see that changed and going in that fourth quarter that made you put it on?
Well, it was absolutely on the scout to do from the beginning, but we picked up some early fouls. And so you have to kind of balance it out. If we pick up those 2 quick fouls, you have to be cautious in a sense of how they're blowing the whistle. But it is always going to be on every scout to press and to trap and to be overly aggressive. But we have to adjust if we pick up those early fouls. So we have to work on being better coming out of the gate and being disciplined when we are putting that pressure on so we don't get into that early foul trouble.
And then speaking of adjustments, in that second half as well, they started, when you brought that pressure up, they started slipping those screens.
Mhm.
What were you guys doing or trying to do on the back end to try to cut those down once they made that
Well,
adjustment?
and we knew the counter for the trap was a slip, so we worked on our rotations as far as who had the slip support and then who had the next pass out of that. I think Jaden stole a couple on that slip. So we knew that was going to be the counter because they've done it before with previous opponents. And so we just worked on who had that slip support.
Last year when you went over there, you came back and won.
Mhm.
Tonight, they won. Do you like playing them, and is that something you'd like to continue going on just for
Absolutely.
the crosstown rivalry sort of thing?
Great. I think it's a great rivalry. I think you always want to play, those crosstown rivalries. It's good energy in the building. And so we're going to continue that if they want to, not shy away from that. But you're right, it kind of mirrored the same kind of atmosphere in game from a year ago. And so, again, that's something if Molly wants to do, we'll continue keeping that on the schedule.
The Sun Devils will play their first Pac-12 matchup versus the Arizona Wildcats on December 17th. What are the Sun Devils' goals in the final season of the Pac-12?
Yeah, to win, to win. And so for us, in preparation for that on December 17th, is to continue to improve. There are things that we're going to need to do. Obviously, that game is here. And so I think for us to have a good week to prepare, kind of reevaluate this game and just all the games prior and where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, what our team's going to continue to try to expose, and really work on honing into that and making sure we're better. But for sure, we got to take care of the ball We got to be way more aggressive. 8 attempts at the free throw line is not going to get it done. 26 rebounds is not going to get it done. You know, we got to get those second and third opportunities. We got to put foul pressure on. To your point, take care of that foul situation so we can put that pressure on for 40 plus minutes and not spot it. So just continue to get back in the gym and get better.